returnabofanxietycenter.com.
Hey, Jim, can I go first? I have to get to work really quick.
Sure, you bet. Yeah.
This is April.
Yes. Hi, April.
Hi. It's been about 10 years since
Yes,
I
it's
last
been a
talked.
while.
Yeah. Hi, Carol. I think I heard your voice on there. It's been about 10 years with you as well.
Hi, sweetheart. Yes, it has.
I think you've seen my questions on the website, but I found myself back with the personalization after 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's been about 5.5 months since it started again. I'm definitely not where I was. It's been a really rough road, but because I knew what it was, I started my recovery pretty much immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it came back because I just went back into life and, had stressors, and I had signs that I was, I had anxiety signs, and I just ignored them pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found myself like this again. Just a little background. I did finish nursing school. I became a power lifter, not professionally, but I'm a national and world level power lifter as well. And I've had to stop that, which was extremely hard for me. It's still kind of hard. So with that said, my questions are, since it started, my anxiety was pretty bad in the beginning, and now it's definitely not even close to where it was. I listened to my past Skype calls, and to my surprise, there was a lot of things that I said that I don't even remember happening. But a lot of things that I did said, like a lot of the thoughts that I had recurred this time, but just at a much faster pace. They came on a lot sooner than they did the last time.
Mm-hmm.
But very similar thoughts. So I know it has a lot to do with this depersonalization feeling and what it does to you. So with that said, I'm just wondering, it's been about 5.5 months. My anxiety is way down. My morning anxiety is pretty much not there anymore. It's more of like a uneasy feeling for a little bit before I get out of bed. And once I'm out of bed, it's pretty much gone. It just takes me a while to get going throughout the day, but I still feel the depersonalization and derealization, which is also not fun.
Yeah.
So my first question is, as far as recovery, how far along do you think I am if I still feel the depersonalization, but my anxiety response is pretty much nothing during the day, depending on if I have thoughts occur.
Sure.
Or if my depersonalization feels stronger than usual in certain moments.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you a question first, just so I get an understanding of why the rebound. Was there a lot of stress going on prior to the onset of symptoms?
Yes. So throughout the 10 years, I got a divorce. So I'm a single mom. I bought a house. Powerlifting, I was doing a lot of competitions. I had world level, national level competitions that I prepare for, which was very stressful to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that I did, it just felt, definitely felt more symptoms. I was having crazy thought symptoms without the depersonalization.
Mm-hmm.
But there was quite a bit.
Okay.
But I also had a lot of, I was on social media a lot. So I had that type of stress when you're comparing yourself to, like, I follow a lot of other lifters. So I'm comparing myself to them and I'm getting upset and that type of stuff.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I appreciate the comments. Yeah, there's a lot there. Because we always have rebounds because of buildup of stress, period. And when you say return of anxiety, I'm assuming you're meaning a return of symptoms. Or was it also return of anxious thinking and the whole mix?
It was return of symptoms, but just it was pretty much a whole mix. I didn't really feel like the anxiety until the depersonalization set in, and then I had to force myself to relax, and then there's just like
Sure.
onslaught of having to keep myself calm throughout the day.
Yeah. All right, and so you have good reason for rebound for sure, and then and that's the thing we notice quite a bit is we can go and go and go and go, and then when our symptoms get to the point where we need to take action and we start to dial it back, that's when it really hits us, with full onslaught symptoms and then the anxious thinking and all that. And being a member and going through this once before, you understand why that happens from a biological standpoint.
Yeah.
All right, so you dialed it back, and then it's a bumpy ride after that. As we start to continue to work at calming down, it just seems to get worse for a while until it gets better, and then we start to see it start to lift a little bit. So it sounds like you're through the worst part of the rebound, but it sounds like your body still has some distance to go.
Mm-hmm.
As a power lifter, that stresses the body, but and I guess it depends on how far you push yourself. I understand when you say it's kind of tough to have to put that on the side burner right now until your body's back on track. So there might be a way that you can resume that to a lesser degree than actually pushing and competing. Exercise kind of has that sort of awkward balance where it's beneficial, but if you go too far, then it's not. And if you're in recovery and you're working and you're working out to a certain degree and you're not finding yourself going backwards, then that's probably safe. Because exercise is good, it's just finding where that crossover point is. But it is hard to have to put life on hold as the body recovers, and as you know, it just takes a darn long time for the body to recover. And so it sounds like you are heading in the right direction, but it sounds like you still have some distance to go. In terms of how long, it's hard to say. Your bodies take as long as it's going to take. It also depends on what else is going on in your life, if there's other stressors going on, your relationships, financial things, all those things will come into the mix. So it's just going to depend. Mm-hmm. But the good news is if you keep working at it and try to keep your stress to as little as possible over the next little while, your body will eventually work its way back.
Okay. Yeah, I've been keeping my stress way down. Even when I catch myself stressing about anything, I've really taken this seriously. I walk my dogs every day, twice a day. I do my deep relaxing twice a day, at least once a day, but most of the time it's twice a day. Mm-hmm. I pretty much just relax. My job is I'm an RN now. I work in group homes, so I sit a lot and it's not stressful.
Okay.
So I'm lucky in that aspect. So I'm lucky that I'm able to just relax if I need to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because nursing isn't a non-stressful job, as you know. It also, yeah. Well, that's good. You're in a good spot. Yeah.
Yes. I'm very flexible. It's Monday through Friday. It's mainly paperwork, to be honest.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. In my, so yeah, I was just wondering because most of us when we're in the middle of it, we just want to be out of it tomorrow or today.
Yeah.
But I am on the road because it just sticks around this depersonalization. Even though I feel calm, it just, it's such hard work to keep yourself calm when you feel disconnected.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's one of the challenges with that symptom is we do have to keep ourselves calm when life does feel disconnected. With a lot of our symptoms too, it's tough because the symptoms themselves are annoying, and trying to keep ourselves calm in spite of what the body's doing is one of the harder things we have to manage. But that is our task because we don't want to be reacting to the symptom. We just keep them going then. So it is our job to keep ourselves as calm as possible, do what we need to do, and be as tolerant as we can until the body starts dropping those symptoms. But it can be certainly challenging, yeah.
Yeah. I just have one more question. I've been working with Larry too. I haven't talked to him in a while because I'm a single mom. My funds are low.
Yeah.
But I asked him, but I don't see it on the website as part of symptoms. But one of my main symptoms that I get when I know that I'm getting stressed is excessive blinking. I did have a 3-week stretch not too long ago where I really didn't have it, but it came back full of force. And it's even when I try to rest and I close my eyes, it's like I constantly still need to blink even though my eyes are closed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you blinking because your eyes feel dry, or is it just a reaction?
I think it's both. Because I don't know nothing changes when it goes away for a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing that I don't put any eye drops in, it just kind of goes away and then it comes back and then it goes away.
Yeah. Because, our eyes do take a hit when our body's stressed. There's a lot of reasons for that. And sometimes people will, blink their eyes quite a bit because their eyes are dry and they just feel they have to. Other times it's just kind of a nervous reaction. Because, again, the muscles in the eyelids can sometimes also feel kind of antsy, so we have to move them, just like people can experience restless legs. We can also have, certain situations. It's not one of the more common symptoms. We haven't written about it because it hasn't been that common, but it does occur. But the dry eyes definitely is one of the reasons people blink a lot. And as stress comes down, you'll probably find, you won't have to do that. But then the other challenge is that sometimes it develops into a habit too, where we feel we have to all the time. So we have to sort of watch for that. If it's because your eyes are dry, there's certain things that you can get to help lubricate the eyes so you don't feel like you have to blink. A visit to the eye doctor might be helpful just to see if your eyes are dry, indeed dry, or just feel dry. Because sometimes dry eyes can actually cause that too, right? So it might be worth a while just to visit your eye specialist and have them see what the quality of the surface of the eye is and see if you actually do need something. And if it's just feeling that way, then you can manage it until your stress comes down. Or if it actually is dry because of stress, then you can get drops that'll lubricate them.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. And just going back to the powerlifting, you're saying that I can go back to, I'm talking like powerlifting. I was lifting hundreds and hundreds of pounds.
Yeah.
So.
Well, this is always difficult for us to say because there is a benefit and a negative, and the dividing line it's different for each person. And listening to other of our Skype calls, I was telling you about a client I work with who was in that exact same spot as a powerlifter, professional, worked really hard and then had to dial it back. And once he was in recovery and things were moving forward, he certainly wasn't symptom free by any stretch. He still had a ways to go, but he did resume again, and he just accommodated for the extra. And when he felt that he pushed himself too hard, he just dialed it back a little bit. But he was actually better by going and doing something he loved by actually not doing it, if you know what I mean. So you might want to just experiment to see, how your body responds. Again, I suggest starting lighter than you normally would. And if you've been off for a while, as you know, you have to build some endurance. So you want to start lighter and just see how your body responds. Because again, there is that benefit that comes with exercise, but that fine line is really hard to detect. And it's not something that I can tell you, but you'll have to discover that for yourself.
Okay. Because I did notice I went for a hike 2 weeks ago, and it was supposed to be just a flat terrain, but it turned out there was some elevation and my heart rate had to be at least 130.
Yeah.
And I noticed the next day I don't know if it's just coincidence, but my ability to dismiss thoughts was not as strong.
Yeah.
So thoughts were coming in, I had a harder time dismissing.
Sure. That may not necessarily be a result of the hike. It could be just because of, as you're working through recovery, you're going to have days where you feel better at containing and then days when you feel like you can't contain at all. Even though nothing has changed, that's just how hyperstimulation affects the body. I know when I was dealing with anxiety all those years ago, that was one of the things that confused me the most. It's like, 1 or 2 days I felt I've mastered this containment thing and nothing's going to be bothering me again. Nothing changed. Wake up the next day and I'm a total wreck. It's like, what happened? How does this even occur? But that's what happens when the body's hyperstimulated. It's just erratic. And so it's hard to tie certain activities to increases in symptoms because you're going to have increases and decreases just by nature of the hyperstimulation. So this is where you want to try to sort through this, and that's why we say each person has to sort of sort through this by themselves to see how the body's going to respond to the extra load you're putting on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't want to put any more time on this than I have to.
Yeah. Now, I do want to touch on something that we haven't talked about. One is, I suspect there are still some underlying factors going on that haven't been addressed. Especially, one of the things you mentioned about, social media looking at other, and competition is like that. You have to see where your competition is at and so on and so forth. But if there's added stress coming from self-perspective things, there's an underlying factor there, and that's going to increase the stress load. So, I understand your financial situation, but at some point you want to look at where self-esteem and self-based worth is at, especially in terms of performance-based self-worth. I suspect there's probably something in there that's making your stress higher than someone else's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, you're definitely correct with that. I've been working on my thinking of that, and I've actually been contemplating. I couldn't actually go on social media for quite a while because it was just, my anxiety was so bad. It was like scaring me. It was weird. So now that I can go on, I still don't go on too much. And I'm actually contemplating actually just getting rid of it completely, because I still find those old habits coming back, even though I tell myself not to.
Yeah.
I still find myself, especially now that I'm not lifting and I see other people, and that doesn't even have necessarily be lifting. It could be other things.
Yeah.
Because, people make their lives look great on Instagram.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And, because there's a certain level of stress that comes from competition, and that's natural, part of the competition. But then when there's self-esteem and performance-based self-worth issues, we just magnify that a lot. And so it's not really the stress coming from the physical act of competition that's doing the harm, but it's actually the way we think about it that does most of the harm. So, because because you've had this setback, and to me it would seem it stems from unaddressed underlying factors. You may not have had that rebound had you worked on those underlying factors. And I know we can work with therapists for a while and still not get to some of these issues. And a lot of times we quit too soon because we feel good and we want to get back to life. And who wants to deal with all that stuff anyway? So we get going. But then it's just a matter of time under certain situations where those do come back and raise their ugly heads. And so to prevent, a rebound in the future, you may want to really look at, all right, where is my real sensitivities here? What are the things that are driving my psychological and emotional stress? And then really deal with them so that next time when you're competing, you don't have to have that stress baggage tagged along with all the rest of the physical stress.
Yeah, that's definitely a good place to start, because I'm actually contemplating whether I want to be competitive in the sport anymore, because it is such a yes, competing is stressful because you're getting up on a stage in front of a bunch of people, and you have to perform to your best. You have that expectation, and if you don't perform, then you feel like you let people down, and that's huge.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to.
I mean, I went.
But it doesn't have to be that way, right?
No, I know.
Yeah, and that's where the difference is.
That's where I got to work on. Yeah.
And unfortunately, today's society is so focused on image and appearance and success that we lose sight of the fact that, we're human. Not everybody's going to be successful all the time. And we want to come to terms with being accepting of that rather than, really getting down on ourselves. Now, we can use those less than perfect performances as motivation to work harder and do better, but we don't want to be stressing about it. There's a big difference, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. I wish people would be more accepting of them the way they are in terms of their performance level. It's great to excel because you want to, but then the harm comes in when we think we need to or we have to achieve some level of acceptance or something or other. That's, again, where the unhealthy stress comes in.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, something I need to work on.
We're works in progress.
This is going to go away, right, Jim?
Yeah, well, that's the bad thing about stress is that it does, create havoc in our lives and can cause a great number of, really disturbing symptoms. The good news is that when we eliminate the stress and give the body time, it does, rebound back to where it was. So, yes, if you do the right things, your body will get back to, where it needs to be and feel healthy again. And then the other challenge that we have is not only the body getting back on track, but then we have to get our thinking back on track too, because sometimes when we have a rebound, all of a sudden we sort of get stuck on old mental habits about, oh my gosh, this is never going to go away. I'm going to struggle here forever. What's going on here? What if this is this? And we sort of fall back to those patterns. We also have a habit of falling back to introspection where we're always, assessing ourselves. So then we add stress there. So the best part of recovery is that give the body what it needs and it'll recover. The other part is that we have to keep ourselves contained and be accepting, all right, this is stress, give myself time, I'll be okay, and just leave it there rather than worrying about it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I know, listening to old Skype calls and I hear others, because I do have the evidence that it did go away the last time, but when you're back in it,
Yeah.
you're again afraid that, well, this is it. I've did it now, and it's not going to go away this time.
Yeah. And there's a reason for that. Again, when stress is up and the body's hyperstimulated, the brain just thinks anxiously. It's like everything seems dangerous and hopeless and so on and so forth. So we have to sort of accept that as being one of the symptoms. Say, yeah, well, whatever, you can think of what you like, but I'm just going to get my body back on track. And then when the GABA and the glutamate levels come back into balance again, the body's stimulation drops. All of a sudden, we're thinking clearly again. So if you can just take that as part of the symptom mix, then and just move beyond it, right?
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much, Jim. I mean, if you didn't have this site, I don't know where I would be, or probably most of us. Because I tell myself these, I've read through the site so many times since it started again, just to keep reminding myself of the things I need to do and the things that are happening are actually normal.
Yeah.
And that fear set in my brain is prominent right now, which is why the anxiety is still there.
Yep. Someone just unmuted their mic. Can I ask you to mute the mic again just for a minute? Because some of the background sounds are coming through. There we go. Thank you so much. Oh, you're more than welcome. And that's why we do what we do, because, for me, it was hard to find information about this. And it's easy to get stuck in fear loops and just keep the body stuck there. Because if we don't understand what's going on, how do you contain that? You just think this is reality. But the good news is now that we know what's happening in the body, we can just, again, contain ourselves. Yeah, this is just stress. It'll dissipate. And as my body gears down, I'll think clearly again. And this will be a non-issue. So, I wish you every success in this. And, certainly keep in touch and let me know how you're doing. Don't be surprised if you still have, some months ahead of you yet before you feel back to normal.
Oh, definitely. I'll be in Calgary in July.
Oh, will you? Oh.
Yeah. We're coming back to Banff because it was so beautiful last year we went.
Oh, nice. Do you have an opportunity to change your timing when you return? Why I'm saying that is because July is our rainy month here. It's like monsoon for the first half of July.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But if you come, the last couple of weeks of July or even August is a better month, then we get our heat and our sun. But yeah, June and July is our rainy time here. So finding a nice day in the mountains is tough.
Okay. Oh, well, maybe the end of July.
That would be good. Yeah. At least you get some good weather. Yeah.
Yeah. Because last year we were there and it was freezing. It was snowing.
Oh,
in June.
We did have a horrible summer last year. And then, fortunately, you missed the smoke. We had forest fire smoke coming in from BC, so the entire summer was smoke-filled here, too, so it wasn't that pleasant.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
We missed that.
Yeah, that was a good thing.
All right. Thank you so much, Jim, and thank you, everybody, for your patience and my questions.
Oh, thank you. Wish you all the best.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.